And now it's time for Silly Stats with Xerath, the part of the show where Xerath comes out and shows you a silly stat. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're in the Plan, which is my weekly show that talks about all the different happenings in the greater Galaxy of Heroes universe. It's a lot of fun. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, folks. A lot of frustrating things from CG, a couple interesting things, a couple okay things from them. It's been a relatively slow news cycle, but who knows? Maybe things will ramp up. I hope they don't. I hope we just get a long break so we can actually work on stuff. Everything's been such a signed workload lately, hasn't it? At least for the people trying to keep up. I know my alt is definitely farther behind than he was at the start of the year. That being said, folks, let's actually jump into me pleading you to help me mount the algorithm. It doesn't take much effort on your end. Just a like button, subscribe, comment, all those things, one or the other, or all three, or like one or two of the choices, or the other two. You know how math works. Some of you do. Some of you claim to me in comments, I'm like, you guys don't know how math works, and people are like, actually we do. I'm like, well, that's good, because my 4-year-old can do math pretty good as well. And therefore, I hope you guys mount the algorithm really well. It's not logical, but my 4-year-old can do math. Go mount it. Thank you. Now, in terms of my personal account, I've just finally started farming the Hutt. The Boosh shards were available to me, finally, in shipments, and in the weekly shipments, and that meant that I could actually start farming him. And I am probably over halfway-ish done, right around halfway already. Hopefully I'll have him for week 2 in GAC, though that is non-guaranteed. He is ridiculous, guys. He totally wrecked me. A non-ultimate version. He's very good. Very, very good. In terms of content that I've released this week, I mean, I've put out a lot of really important, hard-hitting content, I'm sure. There are guides and discussions on how to, what teams to place for GAC and such. There's also this, so you finally have Supreme Leader Kylo guide. It goes alongside my other guides. I think the only ones I need to do now are the ones on Kenobi and Lord Vader, so we'll do that eventually. That'll get done, don't you fear. Go check it out, though. Alright, in terms of news, there's a few different things going on here, folks. So first off, there's a new Omicron, and it's all based on being able to beat the Reek with Bad Batch. I don't know if CG just thought the Bad Batch could beat the Reek. They're like, oh yeah, it's a new cool clone squad. The community will find a way. The community did not find a way. A lot of people claimed to find a way. I've never seen someone actually do it consistently. Every once in a while, someone will show me a clip and I'll be like, wow, that was magic. I'm like, how did you do in your other attempts? And they're like, I haven't actually managed to replicate it. And then they go on to say that it's very reliable. Anyways, I'm like, you did it once. Good job of finding something reliable in your mind. However, this should make it more reliable if that's what your guild needs. Go make your own value judgment. I mean, I think pretty soon a lot of people are going to just be ignoring this, frankly. People aren't going to be working on that. I bet that cam shards show up in the shop for GET 1 or 2 is my guess. So start hoarding that. And if I'm wrong, then at least you have a bunch of GET 1 and 2, right? The thing that's interesting, and the people that everyone is, like, I've had this pointed out to me, I think 15-ish times. That might be an exaggeration, but not by much. People really want to believe this. I don't know. So they say part of her kit, so her stats get boosted for each of the relic amplifier levels for a max of 100%, 10% for each relic amplifier. So that means there's room for relic 10. I mean, sure, I would have said Relic 10 is coming to this game very soon, for a long time. I would say probably it comes out as a Christmas hype thing, and we get some really cool Christmas bundles for it. Hey guys, Relic 10 is here, yes! How many people have Relic 10? Or have Relic 9 right now? Not many, but they keep making Relic 9 more and more available. Eventually, they're going to start putting out Relic 10 to give whales something to whale on. They've made the prices more and more approachable for people for Relic 9, and there are a lot of whales who are... they have a lot of Relic 9s, guys. I mean, I face people with like 40 or 50, quite a bit. I have like 10, so, you know, it's like for Krakens. But that's going to be a thing. I bet that if I had to guess, I would guess that Relic 10 is going to come out as part of the Territory Battle launch, the new Territory Battle. That might not actually happen that way, but if I had to guess, that's what I would guess, and I don't think that's totally unreasonable. Because they'll have a new form of progression then, at the very least. My guess is that it's that, maybe even 7.mods. I hope not both, but you never know. They could. Now, this one is really frustrating, guys. So there was this, they put out their new cool update, and I think we'll talk about that in the next slide, but put out their new cool update. It's not that cool, actually. There's frustrations, but the spaghetti code that was all wrapped up inside, coiled up in this awesome game, decided to say, hey, you know how you can kill the new Lord Vadercron, like the Dodgecron that you know, the Lord Vadercron that like no one can beat in 5v5. There's nothing, you know, like Rey would be considered an off-meta team kind of madness. Here's how you do it. You use BAM with Rey, and you do all this stuff. But here's the thing. Everyone placing Lord Vader is safe because every time you try to enter a battle with Beskar Mando, your game crashes. No matter what, whether you're in Arena, whether you're in Conquest, whether you're anywhere. So they fixed it, and they fixed it, I don't know. There was a hotfix, and it was the same night. So in the middle of my stream, it was kind of late for me, like really late for East Coasters. And they fixed it, but then they didn't tell anyone. We just had a client restart, and then it was working. It crashed us with BAM, and it crashed us with ships, I should say. And like some people just straight up lost. A ton of people actually just straight up lost their GACs because of this. I lost banners because of it. That I don't think I lost, frankly, because of it. I think there were other issues, but this would have helped quite a bit to have BAM available for me. And they just didn't tell us. You can see this bottom thing. They're like, hey, sorry for the delayed update. We released a buff last night. It's like, maybe if you go through the effort of fixing it, that's the hard part. Maybe shoot out one line. I can type that for you in 30 seconds. CG, if you want me to, I'll work for you. You can hire me. I'm really good at typing one line sometimes. Usually. Like, I can almost always be relied upon to type one line within, I don't know, even like half an hour of the deployment of the fix. Like, maybe just send it out. Like, you already fixed it. You put yourself out there. It's out there. Go take credit for it, for crying out loud. Instead, you're like, hey, we fixed it, and everyone's still pissed because they don't know you fixed it. They don't have any idea. They don't want to risk their GACs for it. It's obnoxious. Please, just let us know when you fix things, CG. Things are going to break sometimes. It's frustrating for us as players, but we understand it. But then, when you fix them, let us know. With one line, or hire me, and I will let people know. I'll let people know with one line. Easy. Easy peasy, guys. I'll even use cool font if you hire me. I come with font, guys. If you hire me. It's the whole package. Alright, I don't know, how annoying is this to other people? I'm curious. We can't see it, like, so we're supposed to sign up for Territory Wars, and we can't see it. Just not there. So GAC's there is very functional. The events circle is, I don't know. Sure, let's throw the event circle there. And then they have their stupid advertisement circle for Conquest. They're like, hey, buy the pack. If you don't have the pack for Conquest, then F you can't see Territory Wars. So you buy the pack for $10. The Conquest pack is amazing. It's the best $10 you can spend in the game by a huge margin, actually. It is magic. It is $10 for $10. It's quite good. However, and that goes for people who are above 4 million GP, by the way. It's a different pack if you're below that, just for reference. But if you buy the $10 pack, then the ad just shows up again as a $30 pack. They're like, hey, we want more. It's only $20, guys. It's only $20 because you already spent 10. Like, go F yourselves. It's a horrible pack. I don't want it. Can I turn that off? And they're like, no. And you can't remember Territory Wars. You have to do it the hard way in order to access it. It is obnoxious, guys. I wish we could configure our user interface just a little. Give us the option. Like, if you have to have your stupid ad on here, I guess that's fine. It's your game. You don't have actual ads we have to watch, so you can have some ads on the screen. However, let us choose. Like, what if we don't want GAC? Or we'll just remember it. Maybe let us take GAC off and put Territory Wars in instead. I just want the option to see it, because otherwise, I almost forgot to join, and wouldn't have been the end of the world, but at the same time, wouldn't have been the start of the world either, whatever that means. For that matter, CG, we are due for a user interface update. Please do the thing that I was just talking about, and then, you know what, do this first. This is way more obnoxious. You want us to engage with Datacrons? We're going to talk about how Datacrons are hurting the community right now, and how it's not a good thing for the game. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. However, if you want us to engage with Datacrons, maybe you can change the way we interact with it. If we put the lock button on, if we put the favorites button on, it just mixes and matches. Not to mention, you have to click in, and then if you don't find, if it's not the one you want, you're like, hey, I have 7 Lord Vader 11 Lord Vader Crons. So I want to find the one with grit, because I didn't need all of them to be the cooldown reduction ones. You click in, you're like, nope, not that one. They make you click out, and then click the next one. Nope, not that one. Click out, click the next one. Click out, click the next one. And you can't favorite them, or with any hope of like success of them actually showing up where you want them to be. You can't favorite them. It's just a huge stupid mess. And not to mention, you can only favorite a couple of them before it just becomes a pretty bad organizational tool as well. So please fix the stupid UI. The organization stuff is just so awful. Please, CG, like, you want us to engage? Make it palatable, please. Oh, here's the slide about the update. Apparently that didn't. Okay, so Extra Life event came out. This is something cool the CG's done, in fact. And we need to give them credit for that. I mean, this is something that the employees always do. And it's for a charity. Who knows if the charity's good or not? I'm guessing that it's okay, but they do it on their own time. The company isn't paying them. However, this year they added something else cool. The CG has decided to let them, like, as much money as we can raise, that they'll incentivize us to they'll give us some cool rewards. So if you guys see the extra assault battles in the events, like, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the things that's happening. It's like we just had Rebel Assault, and we'll have it again in a couple days because of the one-drop rewards. So CG, is actually supporting that more than just letting the employees use their platform to get more clicks and donations. So I don't know, that's a cool thing, like supporting that, like actually putting a little bit of resources behind it. I think that's good. Laudable by CG, just a net positive, in my opinion. And I think the community did raise over 20,000, which, I mean, it's a decent amount. I mean, CG's raised over $1 billion from us, is what I hear, but that's whatever. Alright, guys. And then they added Jabba missions to Darkside, Hoth, and Territory battles. I don't know. I guess that's cool. I wonder how hard it's going to be. That's what she said. But I don't know. This is fine. They said they were going to do it. The problem is, guys, they've stuck to a pretty consistent farmable cadence for new marquees, and they're deviating from it. It's already been 2 weeks since Scando could become farmable, and he's not. And I mean, free to play wanted to get him. I don't know. do you want to reward the whales a little bit more? I guess it's fine. I mean, I'll have him exclusively, but I mean, my whole group has Jabba except for me, so whatever. I don't know. I feel like people should be allowed to start farming for Jabba. Like, this is still, if you start farming him, it's still going to take months to get Scando. And then his gear is obnoxious. Then you have to get Boosh. You have to get, I mean, people who said that Jabba was easy to get they're a little crazy, actually. Alright, so here's kind of the main topic today, folks, is data. Now, this thing was floating around in a server I'm in, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, so I'm not going to say names or anything, or even where I got it is precisely. However, I've had a few different people show this to me on different servers and in direct messages. It's floating around, and it's showing how dramatically, since Datacrons showed up, people aren't engaging in GAC. Now, there's actually evidence to support that theory, but this is not the right graphic for that, folks. So this is showing the number of attacks made by people that swgoh.gg is tracking for their counters. So that, I mean, that's good. It's good data. It's solid. It's accurate. However, it doesn't label anything. It just says 5v5 versus 3v3 is the number of attacks. So what swgoh.gg does is they take the top 100 guilds, and they track all the players in those guilds, and they show the attack results. And the defense results, so that you know what the meta report is for GAC, which is a great tool. It's wonderful. And what it is, though, it's a static. So, you have 50 guilds, we have 100 guilds, you have 50 players in each. And, it's what, 5,000, 50,000, I don't know, off the top of my head. Let's see, 100, in 1 second. Yeah, so it's the top 5,000-ish players, and then how many attacks those 5,000-ish players do. So, I mean, this is a nice thing to be able to track, like, if there is, in the Datacron meta right now, if there's more holds than not, if the top guilds are more engaged in territory wars, in GAC or not. This is not something to show a huge drop-off in engagement, though. Not truly. So they highlight the Datacron section up toward the top, like the lighter orange color, and then they show oh my gosh, look at this crazy drop off for Datacrons. And the problem with that, folks, is it's also when we went to 3 attacks per week. Or per month, 3 weeks of GAC, instead of 4 weeks of GAC. And so, of course, the attacks are going to fall off significantly. It's not like everyone was just like, oh, Datacrons, I quit. I mean, some of them did, and we're going to get to that. But this chart, people are showing, look at how no one is actually playing the game. No one's engaging. It's false. This chart wouldn't show that. That's all. It shows the number of attacks that people have made in the top 100 guilds, and it just goes to show it's in one full season. So now the seasons have significantly fewer people playing, and they have significantly fewer people weeks and attack phases, I should say. Sorry, I'm stammering all over the place, folks, but we got to keep it. So it's just showing that. Let me show you the real data, though, folks. Okay, so first off, if you want the full chart here, you can go to my Discord server. I made a channel called Data. It's right underneath the infographics channel. So find that in the video description if you're interested. You can find this whole thing, so it maps out all the different people who have clicked join in GAC, and this is taken from swgoh.gg, so it's an accurate thing, and it tracks it over time. I'm going to show you guys a closer view of it, but I can't show you the whole thing, and I think it's too much information anyways. It'll just melt your mind. So if you want the full thing, I'm not hiding anything. This is compiled from a respectable source, and it's accurate as far as I think anyone knows. You can look at it in Discord. However, I'm going to show you guys a little more zoomed in picture. So, I mean, there's interesting stuff, like Skill Squish is just kicking people out of Kyber, out of all levels of Kyber. People are just getting booted. And it's an interesting thing. People are saying that you can draw the conclusion that top-end players are quitting, and some of them are quitting. But, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's not just top-end players quitting Kyber 1. Some of that, but Skill Squish is seriously knocking people out. It just is. Like there's not much debate on that. All the statisticians that I've talked to have agreed with that. But you draw your own conclusions, obviously. I think the most interesting part, so the telling part, the highlighted thing on the bottom, you can see the dates at the very top, and it just kind of shows how many people total have logged in to GAC. And it does show a drop off. Like it shows from March of 2022 all the way to October of 2022. And you can see there are a significant amount of people leaving, not signing up for GAC. And that's troublesome, right? Like, I mean, I don't even necessarily love to show you guys this, because I have been of the opinion that not too many people have quit, and frankly, not a ton of people have quit. But this is a tiny bit like I'm admitting I was wrong. But at the end of the day, though, it's not about me being right or wrong. It's about embracing truth, right? And so let's embrace the truth. Let's be grown-ups and look at it. So people have been dropping off slowly, and from all different parts, and it's frustrating and sad, and I don't like to see the game kind of starting to wither. However, it looks like it's pretty bad. I mean, not too bad, but what? So we've gone from total signups at 334K. And then we've dropped about, not quite 30K people. And so it's less than 10%. Less than 10% people have dropped from March all the way to October. I mean, it's a statistically significant number of people. I won't deny that. But it isn't people just fleeing. Not everyone is quitting. Not yet. Not yet, folks. Datacrons, however, have had a negative impact. You can kind of just see what happened. However, there's also other data available, and they're starting to track it. I wasn't able to get a chart, but this is from, as well, a reliable source. So I'm going to show you guys, just as a talking point. I don't know where you can verify this. I hope you guys trust me enough, but the person I got this from is very trustworthy. But so they're tracking the 30-day sign-ins now. They stopped for a little bit apparently, but now they're tracking it again. So this is a different set of data. It's not how many people signed up for GAC. It's the number of people who have just logged in and collected stuff, like actually done something in the game, engaged. And so in 2021 it was pretty consistently right around 410K, and then all the way up to June of 2022, which is right around when Datacrons started being a thing, it was 400K login. So like pretty good, like solid. There's fluctuations and stuff, but that's what it was. And then they recently showed this graph, and we're only at 371K logins. So that's again, not 10% quite, but fewer people logging into the game. And I mean, that number does feel a little bit alarming, I suppose. However, I thought this was very interesting. So this is just the same findings here. I just kept it on here, but the conclusions you can draw though. So out of the people who quit, who just like stopped playing the game, who stopped logging in, 2/3 of those are actually people from non-GAC. Who were doing, who weren't logging into GAC anyways. They just quit. It's just like, hey, goodbye, you weren't playing GAC, and now you're not playing the game anymore. So 1/3 of the people who registered for GAC have quit, of all those people. So it's still significant. But I think what's really interesting is you would expect it to be more like 3/4 of those players to actually be GAC players, because that's how many people log in but don't actually sign up for GAC. And if it was just consistent and proportionate across the board, then people who played GAC would have accounted for 3/4 of it, because that's 3/4 of the people who actually log into the game and log into GAC. And instead, it's just like 1/3 of them have quit, which I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting statistic, and I don't know. So it's like, yes, people are quitting. It's discouraging. It sucks. It's not fun. However, out of all these people who have quit, and all of these people who are, like, it's driving away casual players more than anything. I don't know what to say. Like, Datacrons are even more cancer for casuals. I have no idea. I feel like casual players just don't want that extra level of complexity, but I mean, that's just my conclusion. You guys can let me know. I mean, obviously all this data, it's you can always find someone's interpretation to prove whatever they want, and I don't want to necessarily just spoon feed you, like, here, take your own, take my word for it. Just assume that I'm correct. I mean, I don't assume that you're correct, frankly. You leave these, some people leave some pretty irrational things in my comments, and I'm like, I think that's false, but thank you for your input. Like, let's all just think for ourselves, I suppose, and I'm sure you guys will leave me some really fun and really angry responses and comments, and that's to be expected, I suppose. I just, I do think it's a problem. I think Datacrons are hurting the game, frankly. I think people are going to continue to quit, frankly. I think CG should just pull the plug. I want them to. I want them to, at least, like, if they're going to insist on Datacrons, maybe make them somewhat enjoyable. I don't know. I mean, I liked some of it, but it's like, what were you thinking with dodge? It's not fun. It is not fun. You guys are like, it's going to be fun, and it's like, no one has ever said it's fun. You say that we say it's fun. It is obnoxious as hell, CG. I enjoy Datacrons in general. I don't think they're great for the game. People have been quitting because of Datacrons, and I don't think it's quite as bad as the hyperbolists want us to believe, but at the same time, I mean, it's still a little bit frustrating. I mean, people are quitting because of Datacrons, specifically just Datacrons, and I don't think there's really a way to deny that. I would like CG to address this. They have addressed it almost none at all. They're just like, hey, you guys had some questions. And by you guys, they meant they had some disingenuous questions. That's it. That's the only acknowledgement we've had, is that some people might have questions. Alright, guys. One last meme. You guys can read it on your own. And honestly, I love it when people are like, this is bugged. This is bugged. I'm pretty sure this is bugged. And they show me the video. I'm like, oh, you have a video. Nice. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is just a game mechanic that has existed for this whole time. And they're like, I think it's bugged. It's a great interaction, guys. No, I want good things for us. Honestly, I want good things for CG as well. I mean, I want them to prosper, because I do still love this game. Man, there's so many people who are so frustrated right now. It's only a matter of time. I mean, they need to fix some stuff. Do their UI, do their Datacron, address the nonsense that's going on with Datacrons. Please. And actually give us some actual, real questions that people ask with real, genuine responses. I don't know. Probably too much to ask. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.